Michael Grubb from Evolved Ministry. How is everyone today? It is nice to see everyone. So, we're still in lesson 1, the ego. Now, this is something that I want to talk about because it affects the ego, but it's not necessarily an egoic thing, per se. And I also want to put it out there right now that I do know that there are genuinely real, quote-unquote, psychics out there. To an extent, actually every single person on this planet is, because every single person on this planet is able to be taught self-mastery. So all those things that we think of as amazing abilities or whatever are just things that are naturally there in the first place, dormant. Most people just have not at all got to the point where they exercise it. So understand that where I'm getting ready to go with this, it may trigger some people, but I want you to understand that because I am in fact teaching that human beings are their own creators, that they build their own lives, and the energy that they put into things are the things that they create, then comes this second aspect of things. Remember, human beings are their own creators. So what's in their heads, what's in their minds, are typically what manifests in the world in front of them. Most people who are negative are always creating negative things. People who are positive create positive things that occur. Now, that being said, there's a lot of people out there who allow themselves to have worlds created for them. They don't tend to do a lot of critical thinking. They want everything explained to them. So there's reasons why they'll think that everyone else has something better than them, more special than them. So they put people on pedestals like, for instance, psychics. Now, number one, there are people out there, again, who actually know what they're doing. There's two forms of this, okay? Actually, there's a few branches. One form of it is a psychic that believes that they're actually telling you the future. They're telling you things about yourself. They're telling you things about things that you will accomplish, things that you will achieve. Hello. Sorry, I'm just... Okay, so anyway, two types of psychics again. Now, one of them is predictive. Okay? Predictive. Now, these are my terms here. And so, a predictive psychic, what they will do is they will genuinely try, to read things about you, things that make up your whole genetic code, things about your past, and they'll tell you all sorts of stuff. And then what they do is they act as a fortune teller and then tell you things that will happen in the future, right? Predictive psychic, one. The other one is creative. So you got creative and predictive. So a predictive psychic actually genuinely believes that they're tapping in and reading the future. The creative psychic is something different entirely. Understand? The creative psychic is the type that realizes what they're doing is they're actually implanting thoughts into your head. Now, the best psychics, quote unquote, in the world are going to be smart and realize that this is exactly what they're actually doing. You see, what a real good psychic will do is a real good psychic will tell you what is going to occur in your life, and then what ends up happening is by default, you will do the work and pursue it. So if they tell you that you're about ready to meet the love of your life, you're going to meet the love of your life in under 2 years. What will end up happening is you, by default, will take that information and make it true. You will go out to every bar that it takes. You'll go out to any movie. You'll go out to any public area so you can meet this particular person that the psychic said that you were going to meet. So then by default, you will go out and you will seek. And once you seek and find, then you will go back to that psychic and say, my God, you were right. You were 100% right about this. Can't believe it. Your abilities are absolutely amazing, and I'm willing to pay you to do more. Well, all they're doing is they're creating your world for you, and then you're going out there and fulfilling that creation. You can do that yourself. Fact is if you wanted a love in your life, you could go out and create that for yourself and find the love of your life. You could do it. You don't need someone else to tell you. Okay? And a psychic, there's many different ways that they can implant and do things like that. Back in the 80s and 90s, there was a while where people were doing hypnotic regressions, and it was huge for a while. I mean, absolutely huge. The only problem with the fact that it was so huge was then people were starting to be given false memories. Believe it or not, this can happen very easily. Okay? When I was younger, I had told so many lies. There were so many lies that I told over and over and over again. What I'm doing is I'm putting these lies into these people's heads. So much so to the point, and there would be so many details, that I'm painting a picture in their mind. Once I have painted that picture in their mind, okay, they actually attach themselves to it and believe it. Well, years down the line, years and years and years down the line, they will come back to you. Remember that time that you did this and this and this and this? And they will remember it better than you told it. Okay? You will have affected them to the degree that they have absolutely perfect recollection of everything that you told them way back then, but in fact it was just a creation. I know because I've done it. And it ended up just being a creation, but it was a creation that they believed to the point where it became real to them. That's how powerful that the mind is, and that's how powerful the power of suggestion is. Okay, so when you allow yourself to seek externally, okay, externally, other than that which is inside of you, you are liable to be fooled. You're liable to be fooled by people who, and sometimes there's a lot of people that are not actually trying to fool you. But the fact of the matter is, the more knowledge that you have, the easier it will be to discern it even when they're not trying to fool you, and that they end up trying to pull a fast one anyway. Because sometimes people aren't trying to do it, but then there's a point where they realize, okay, I can take advantage of the situation now. Even though they weren't trying to do it before, there can be any point along the road where they realize that they've got control of your mind well enough to where they can sit and puppet and manipulate you and get things out of you. A good teacher is going to try to set you free. Anyone out there who is doing their best for you as a teacher or as a friend, they're going to lead you into directions that are going to make it easy for you to empower yourself well enough to exceed or excel any situation and to make your way out of it. That's what good people do. What many other people will do in terms of psychic work, or there's also counseling, because there's some people that just do what is known as psychic counseling too, okay? Be careful. Again, if you start mastering you start mastering yourself, there's no reason to know what the future is. There's no reason, because you're living in the now. There's no reason to constantly have something define you. There's so many people out there who are always like, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? You just are. You don't need a definition. Who am I? What is it that I was doing? You're here now. Because you're here now, this is what's in front of you. This is what matters. Quit trying to figure out who am I so much, because let me tell you something, that question could be asked for eternity. You could be in your next lifetime, let's say 100 years from now, and then you're stumbling around, who am I? Who am I? What am I? Who cares? You just are. You're here. You always were. And always will be. I gave up on the who am I question a long time ago, and then that's when I found out who I was. The moment that I gave up on that question and said, who I am is the right now. I am the here and now. And this is what I'm operating on. What you have to do is, take things right there at face value. That's the reason why when I dream, or when I find myself in other quote-unquote worlds, places, dimensions, whatever, to the dream state, meditative state, whatever you want to call it, I accept where I am at for that moment, And I don't ask these questions, who am I, what am I doing? I just go. It's because I'm there. You can sit around forever asking questions. You can sit around forever being in denial. You can always play that and do the pondering game and philosophy where you're trying to figure out the meaning of life, or you can just jump into it and do it. And that's what I started doing. I jumped into it and did it, and anything that I do, I try to do to the best of my ability. And that's the only thing that I can say. I don't try to compete with anyone because my greatest competitor is myself. I'm also, in many ways, I'm definitely my world's biggest critic. A lot of people think that when they're attacking me and some of the things that they say, it's like, you can't hurt me because no one can do that to me better than me. And since you can't put me down better than I can put myself down, there's no point of even listening to you. Because I know me, and everyone knows them for the most part. But if you don't know who you are, you have to find out. And how you find out, again, is by going through the ego program. Quit asking who you are and become what you are. Eternal love.